Good. Are you ready to have a Ferrari in your lockup?
You did not win it, did you?
Hello everyone, and I hope you're all doing alright in these weird coronavirus times. As a gesture towards luck and things getting better, I'm wearing my lucky jammies. Also because of what's happening tonight. For most people, coronavirus means batting down the hatches and all that kind of stuff, and it did for me as well. I've been looking for cars and I've been looking for something sensible, and I've in theory bought a 205 GTI. I had an offer accepted on a 205 GTI, but haven't been able to get hold of it at the moment because of the travel restrictions. And I've been keeping an eye on an auction. There's the CCA Everyman Auctions. They are in Leamington Spa here in the UK. They have some really interesting cars. Normally they would have happened last Saturday, I think, or Sunday. In one day they would have done about 40-50 cars. Because of what's happening, they're doing them as online auctions instead. One of the cars that I'd seen was a Ferrari 308. Now, do you remember the days of Magnum PI, or do you remember the days as a kid when you saw one of these? They were almost impossibly exotic. There was something so amazing about them. Now, reality is never quite what you remember as a kid, but still, the idea of owning a Ferrari is definitely on my bucket list, and I would love to have one of these. Let's have a look at this one here. It's actually quite a high mileage car. This is 80,000 miles. Actually, let's start again and let me tell you a bit more specifically about this car from the beginning. So it's supposed to go for not that much money in terms of the guide price, 32 to 38,000. Now, if it goes for 32 with a buyer's premium of 10%, really looking at a 35k car. For a Ferrari 308, that is still very cheap. Now, there are reasons why this car is cheap. First of all, it's left-hand drive. Secondly, it's a GTS, so it's the Targa version, not the coupe, so not quite as nice, and it's high mileage. 80,000 miles for a Ferrari, even of this era, is considered high mileage, but still, it is by far the cheapest 308 in the UK, and the cheapest 308 I have seen in years and years. And I'm just feeling a bit reckless at the moment, and I don't know, I'm thinking about doing it. Let me give you a bit of quick history of the different models that there are with 308s. So it started in production in 1976, and to begin with, Ferrari didn't know if they would have enough demand to justify tooling. So for the first year and a half, until mid-77 I think, the first cars were produced with fiberglass bodies. That meant that first of all, they were 150 kilos lighter, and secondly, they had horrible panel gaps and quality, but the rarity of those cars and the lightweight means that they actually are the most sought after. And I think that the quoted power is 255 horsepower. In reality, it's probably closer to 230. Ferrari were always massively optimistic with these cars and the figures that they quoted. So from mid-77 to 1980, then there was the steel-bodied car with carbs. From mid-80 to 82, I think, Ferrari changed to Motronic or K-tronic Bosch fuel injection. In the States, that meant that the car got a massive reduction in power. In Europe, I think it didn't make a huge amount of difference to the power. The K-tronic Bosch cars are actually nicer to drive in some ways because they don't have the foibles that you get with the Webers, so they're easier to drive, easier to start, better on fuel, but they don't have that Weber intake sound, so in a way, it's a downgrade. And that's the car that I'm looking at. It's one of the last Weber powered cars. Then from 82 to 85, when I think production stopped and moved to the 328, they moved to the quattro valvole engine. So that's actually the engine with 4 valves per cylinder, and power then went up again to, I think it's 260, 270 in theory. Again, Ferrari figures, suck it or see it, they were more powerful than the other cars. So in terms of desirability, the fiberglass cars are the most desirable. The quattro valvole cars probably after that. Then the carb cars are good, they're okay, that's the one that I'm looking at. And then the least desirable at all are the first batch of injection cars, which is not what I'll be buying. If you look at this particular car, there are a few telltale signs that it has had the mileage that we're talking about. Look here at the interior. So there we go. You can see the air conditioning unit there. It's all chipped on the sides. Normally these cars aren't, but then again, normally they never have this kind of mileage. And you can see the wear on the ashtray as well. So yes, it has a high mileage, but Personally, I would much rather have a car that's been used than one that hasn't, and I think it has the potential to have less issues as a result as well. Look at that tacho. It's actually like quite cheap and nasty, really, if you think about it. If you look at that, the little hand on it, it's not nicely made, but it still has an incredible sort of appeal all of its own, maybe because of that. So, opening bids are at 26k, but the car is supposed to go for between 32 and 36k. I have a feeling that the reserve is probably at the minimum of that, so around 32. I'm going to put in a bid at 26 to start with, just to make sure that everything's running, and then later I will bid that up. So stay with me and let's see if I win this car or not, and do potentially the most stupid thing I've ever done. Just another couple of quick bits about the car. It's had an annual service at QV, they're good guys. It's supposed to have good history. The only thing that's slightly concerning, the engine and the transmission are rated 3 out of 5, which is supposed to be good and usable, but the rest of the car is 4 out of 5, so let's see. Right, there's 6 minutes to go, and let's have a look at the previous auctions in the countdown to my particular one. A 1972 BMW 1602 offered by JK of Jamiroquai. This is quite a cool car. But it's in need of restoration, and it's going for close to 11 grand, which is just too much, even though he's offered to meet people in person when they come to collect it. I don't even know how that's going to work at the moment in coronavirus lockdown, but in any case, estimate was 8 grand to 10 grand. It's gone beyond the estimate, 10,750. I had a look at this car, and it does look like it's going to need a fair bit of work. Only so much you can see in these pictures. There's some rust bubbling there, possibly a little bit on the sills. It's just too much money for me, for what it is. So let's see. Then there is this Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, again from JK's collection. Reserve not met at 24 grand. This is the kind of car that isn't going to sell in this kind of auction. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of upkeep, it's not very usable, just like the Ferrari that I'm supposedly buying. Now I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to bid it up to 31k, because that will bring the cost up to 34. Should be a bargain, and that's what I'm comfortable with. That includes the buyer's premium. 3 minutes left, and high bid is 27k, so I've got someone there who is actually bidding on my car, which is annoying. Shall I enter? So 3 minutes and 12 left. There's iconic rear lights, at profile. Just see me leaning over that bonnet with a big moustache. 27 grand it's up at. I reckon there'll be a flurry of bids. By the way, something I haven't mentioned is I've managed to get cooperation from a friend. I need to have this car garaged, of course, I can't not garage it. He's agreed to let me garage it as long as he can use it every now and again. And so that takes out one of the issues that there might have been with the car, which I thought was going to be a problem. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in my maximum bid, and I'm going to go slightly over what I said. I'm going to put in 32, which I reckon is what the reserve is, and see what happens. 32,000. Wow, that's just crazy. So I'm sure this will extend the bidding, but what? That's so annoying. It's logged me out. Bastard, come on! Fuck. Right, 35 seconds to go. 3200. Place bid. Confirm bid. Wow. 31,000 by me, and there's 2 more minutes, so it could go above that, but I'm not going to bid above 32k. I just won't. So at the moment, I'm winning with 31k. Will I win this car? 1 minute 15 and it's mine. It doesn't say that reserve isn't met, so maybe 31k is reserve. Still 55 seconds to go. Someone could come in with another bid. Oh, go on, please let me win it. A Ferrari. Will I end up with a Ferrari in these really bizarre times? 29 seconds. Could still come in with another bid. 25 seconds. Wow. 23, 22, 21, 20. Is someone going to come in and bid? 15 seconds to go. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sold for 31,000 to you. Fuck me, I've bought a Ferrari. Fuck me, I have bought a Ferrari. Oh my god, I can't believe it. 31,000, wow. Oh, fuck, I hope it doesn't turn out to be a complete nightmare. Alright, well, keep looking and I'll update you as soon as possible. I'm not sure what the next steps are, where the car is, how I'm going to collect it, especially in these times, what's going on with everything, but I have won a Ferrari 308 GTS. Fuck me.